Good afternoon. My name is Ernie Yeager, and I'm here to talk about my relationship with Dick Kashner as my baseball coach and mentor back in the early 70s. From age 9 on, I really liked baseball, and I really wanted to play. And they didn't have Little League in town, and the only kids that could play were the Catholic kids in the CYO. And I envied them because they had these nice white baseballs, and they had these uniforms and things like that. So I didn't get a chance to play organized baseball till I was 13. I went up and tried out for the Shamokin Merchants, and I really didn't have a lot of skill, but they took on a lot of, I think there was like 10 of us that were 13 years old. And the kids that were starters and all, they were 15 years old, and there were some kids that were like twice my size. And I got to know Dick because he would hit fly balls to me after practice, and I just loved trying to catch his fly balls. I was 12 years old, and Dad passed away in October of '68, and then in '69, I decided, I didn't even know about the Shamokin Merchants, but my friend Glenn Park says, "Hey, you're gonna try out for the baseball team." They were practicing up there. That's where their home field was, Bunker Hill. Yeah. He went fishing with his father up in Alaska, and he had an accident where he slipped on the bank, and they think he broke his neck and drowned. And that, he died up there, and that really affected a lot of people. And who it really affected most was Dick Kashner, because it just kind of struck him. I'm not sure why in the way, but he wanted to do something, and he always talked about not, being afraid to get involved and other people doing things, but God or somebody put it on his heart that he was going to create a baseball field in memory of Glenn. From what I understand, Bunker Hill was quite the field in the 50s. Nice bleachers, amazing grass, backstop. But at the time, the only thing nice you could say about Bunker Hill Field was it was flat. And being in the coal region, that was something. But there was hardly any grass on it, no fences around it, backstop was terrible. So in practice, if you fouled one off, it was going into the woods. We had to go look for balls. We raised $10,000 for the field. All that got us was a fence and topsoil, nothing else. We needed a new backstop, we needed the grass, we needed dugouts. So Dick kept going on and on. We got this beautiful plaque dedicating the field to Glenn that was made out of marble and everything. After 3 months, that thing got vandalized 3 times. Dick, he realized, he looked around and said, well, there's no Little League in town, and he wanted to get Little League started. So talking about stepping out of your comfort zone, next thing you know, he's applying for a charter to Williamsport. He's bringing together people to create fields, to sponsor teams, and the like to actually start a Little League in town. It definitely needed some redoing, and the whole first project, just getting the topsoil, was unbelievable back then. Right. We thought he thought $10,000 would be no problem, and a lot of contractors chipped in too. Sure. I know he didn't. I don't think he bought the fence, and he got the momentum going, and before you know it, he was on the Bernie Romanowski show on Saturdays talking to people and just networking. He didn't even have to try to network. People were networking with him, and he was always didn't think he would have that ability, but he really did, and you could see it in Kathy for sure. Sure. And Rick somewhat, and so I got to know the family very well. He worked at Clark's, no, not the feed mill, the chicken plant where they process chickens. Okay. He was a USDA meat inspector, a GS9. So that wasn't a bad grade back in those days, a GS9. But he had to be at work at 5:30 in the morning, which was good because then he was off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and baseball practice or baseball games, he had to be up to the field at 5 o'clock. And he'd be burning the candle at all ends. One time he told me that he got home from a baseball meeting in the wintertime, and so he went in the house, and the next day, this is so funny, the next day he comes out and his car was still running. He didn't shut the car off. And he said, but it was nice and warm inside. That other field on Bunker Hill was the last one that he made. There was one out by the Ferndale area where Fausti's used to play. It was on the other side of Faust Field. So that was one of the Little League fields. And I know there was another one, but I'm not really sure. My brother Steve, I probably asked him because he was the first one to play in Little League. He was like 10 years old. The second field, maybe it was the third field, the one up on Bunker Hill, the one down the right field line, he wanted to have that close to the hardball field because since he was looking at managing two fields. But, he would do anything he could to get activity out there. In fact, one year he had a wiffle ball league in August and September playing there. And of course, the Tigers football team, which I was a proud member for 5 years. There was some grass in the outfield, but by the time we were done playing, it was just a cloud of dirt playing there. So when we got to go out and play football on Lord's Field on Sunday afternoons, it was amazing because it was like green grass. We loved that. He also played softball in the 70s and the 80s. And that was when softball, fast pitch softball, was pretty active in town. And then when they switched to slow pitch, he even played some slow pitch. He could throw a wicked curveball. I'm telling you, that thing broke at least a foot. And what he would like to do is that he used to pitch bat and our practices were simple. He just pitched bat in practice, and everybody just got in their positions and fielded the balls that people hit. And then maybe we'd go to our position, he'd hit some balls and then, tell you 2 outs where, what to do with the ball and things like that. But he wouldn't tell us when the curveball was coming. And especially like when I first started playing, I never saw a curveball. And he'd throw that curveball, I was like ready to walk into the dugout, He even had my sister, Ann Louise, she was always tagging around with me a little bit when I was 13. She was 12, and she was a good hitter. And she even hit the curveball halfway decent, but, he told her it was coming. But he was a great batting practice pitcher. It was like there. He was like an Iron Mike. It was there all the time. And he'd have this glove, this old glove. He could put like 10 balls in his glove, and just, pick them up and throw them. Every once in a while, somebody'd whack a line drive bullet right back to him, and balls would be flying. Balls would be flying all over the place. We needed somebody to take care of the baseball fields. And myself and another player, Dave Sawaki, we helped out maintain the fields. I never forget the time when when you drag a field, you have this fancy thing behind it. Well, we usually had bed springs that you had to put weight on, and that would drag the field just like, because it was a dirt infield. It wasn't a grass infield. Okay. But we needed somebody, so he paid Dave Sawaki and myself $2 an hour, and we were both, I think we were both 15 at the time, so we were still players on his team. I would meet Dave there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'd work till 12. And it was very primitive work. If we needed water to make the batter's boxes more, the dirt more sticky, we had to walk down to the Liberty Firehouse picnic area, which is about 75 yards away, and fill up a 5-gallon jug and walk to it, walk it back up to the pitcher's mound area and the batting area. It wasn't none of these things where you whip a hose out like they do in Veterans Stadium Veterans Stadium, but
Yep.
Citizens Bank Park. We never ever cut the grass completely in one day. Something would always happen. One time we'd have 2 push mowers, so there was a lot of grass to cut with push mowers. But invariably one would stop working when we tried to refuel it because we were overworking it. One time one caught fire. We didn't have any of those fancy tractors. It was 2 guys pushing lawnmowers, but we never were good enough to get it cut one day. It was a dirt infield, so we had to line the field. You put the string down and have the chalk liner and tap it, going down, making perfect lines. And the field was beautiful. It was dragged. It was nice cocoa blend, and the field was ready. And we're ready to play. And the game was at 6 o'clock, and so we'd been up there since 5 o'clock. And there was about 2 or 3 times that summer, like at 6 o'clock, the clouds just came in, one of those summer thunderstorms. and at 6:15, all hell would break loose and a downpour. So we watched our work. Even though it was flat there, the water did flow somewhere and create little ruts and things like that. And A, we were disappointed because we didn't get a chance to play.
Right.
And B, we watched our beautiful field just get washed down. We were always up there at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty amazing. He was very impactful on youth sports, but you know, he was never one to be out front and share the limelight, or he just did things behind the scenes. All of his players would always want to go back and see him because his practices were so much fun. Because he just ran a fun practice where once we got to high school, the coaches we had there made it such a drudge. We just stood around all this time. But he encouraged and had some of our teams go to regional competitions, the Little League, the actual Little League World Series. They finally decided, his daughter, I guess, was a proponent of it, but she wanted to acknowledge this. So there was a mural painted on Market Street. I got a call from Rick saying that they discovered that he had some kind of cancer and that you know, he wasn't doing that great. So Rick said, if you want to see him before he passes, you need to come now. I left Jersey at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I drove 3 hours, got there by 5, and reminisced and had a visit with Coach for 3 hours, and his wife, and then Rick popped in. So as I was walking to my car for the drive back home, he was saying that we're going to have a special thing for him, dedication in May up at the field, and get everybody together. He died a week later. His wife passed away. I think they were married 50 some odd years. She passed away a month later. To see him work so hard for a cause. At first it was to memorialize Glen Parks, but then it turned into more of that for a love of making an opportunity for more kids to play baseball. To me, that was his legacy, that he created, first of all, the facilities, and then he recruited and encouraged coaches, and then he made available great equipment and uniforms for all the kids, and all the stuff behind the scenes that you don't realize you have to do to have a fairly strong Little League. And he did that, and he was always busy, and top that off, he was always remodeling his house, fixing the outside or doing this or doing that. It wasn't like he went home and flopped on the sofa, but he definitely inspired me. And he took, my father passed away, like I said, when I was 12, so during my teen years, I spent a lot of years with this man, and it was very important to me.